Hey, everybody. It is time for another Money Movie Mashup Live. I am so excited to be here again. We're doing this every 2 weeks. So, make sure that you're sending in movies that you want us to do. And actually, Coach Laura and I, we want you to be challenged. We want you to challenge us. If there is a movie that you think there is absolutely no money lesson to be had, then send us that. That'll be awesome. So, this movie, we're traveling back to the year 2003. And I think, and I'm super excited. Wow, Laura, look at that. That is the smoothest start yet to one of
I
these.
know.
Yeah. That is so cool. So, Laura, I was just saying, I was talking about the synopsis of the movie. You came on so quick. I've never been able to do this before. This is so nice. So traveling back to the year 2003, how old were you in 2003, or just what you were doing? You don't have to tell us your age.
I was in middle school, I guess.
Yeah, let's see. Yeah, I think I was 8th, 9th, something like that. Wow. And this movie, watching it again, I haven't watched it.
No, hold on.
What?
Middle school, you were in 8th grade?
I don't remember. I was guessing upon what your age, and then I was trying to figure out how close in age are we. I think we're pretty right on.
And I'm trying to make life make sense. In
Well, let's
2001,
see. No, 2003. Well, I'm just going to go back to when I graduated high school. So that means I was a freshman.
I was in 10th grade.
Yeah, 9th or 10th grade when this movie came out. So I really, being a guy as much as I can, I totally was dealing with what Chad Michael Murray was dealing with. I'm like, oh, this older woman I have a crush on. No, I'm just kidding. I didn't.
I was like, really interesting. Okay.
All the secrets are coming out on Movie Money Match.
I mean, to be fair, I was crushing on Mark Harmon really hard.
Oh, I was going to bring that up and tell everybody about that. I was all excited when you told me.
So anybody that knows, my husband is 14 years older than me. Apparently, looking back on it, I've always had a thing for older men. I don't know. It's fine. It's fine. I really like Mark Harmon.
Well, before we get too much into our crushes, real quick, synopsis. This movie,
please.
If you haven't seen it, and just so you know, if anybody's just joining us now, we put these out. We try to announce it ahead of time so you have time to watch it with us. So next time, be on the lookout for whatever is next. And like I was saying, Laura, before you jumped on, try and stump us. I want to see some movies that you think there are no money lessons in at all. But this movie came out in 2003, really good year. I mean, Britney Spears was on the top. We'll talk about that as we get into it. But it is a mother and daughter who they're fighting. They're not seeing things from each other's point of view. And one fortune cookie for each of them switches them, and they get put into each other's bodies, and chaos ensues.
Yeah.
So that's where we are. Did you enjoy watching it again? How long has it been since you've seen it?
Oh, it's a couple months.
Yeah. Oh, really? It's been a few years for me.
My girls love this movie, and so it's so easy to sit down and watch with them, and they love it. It's funny because I have money lessons in this movie. Obviously, clearly, that's what we talk about. But there are life lessons in this movie that I think. And one of them that I learned really early on. I think one of the first times I watched this movie at home with my mom. She said when Lindsay Lohan and Jamie Lee Curtis run and like bump into each other, Mom goes, "Oh yeah, that's how I got this scar right here." She had done that with a friend and like scarred her face. She's like, "So don't do that." I was like, "Okay, got it."
Wow.
Life lesson, check.
I totally did not think that was where you were gonna go with life lessons from this movie.
There are more. That's one of the first things I remember. My mother was very good at taking a media moment and turning it into a life lesson.
Okay. Yeah. That's interesting. What I always wanted to see that I thought was the funniest was I wanted to see the little boy and his grandpa switch places. Where was that sequel?
Well, they allude to it at the end.
The lady jumps in and stops them.
Well, that's true.
Yeah.
That would have been really funny.
Yeah. All right, my friend. So let's get into some money lessons from this movie. You want to start?
I mean, did you do the synopsis? Did we
Yeah.
do the quick? Okay, good.
You were there.
I mean, okay. So I went deep. I went deep with these, and I have 5. So if we get to them,
Okay.
we get to them. If we don't, we don't.
All right. I have 6.
Then you go first.
Okay. All right. So, and this is something for us all to keep in mind. Those folks who, and this is where I thought of this, but literally being in someone else's shoes, the idea of that. And so where that touched base with me is when, you know, you are trying to figure out your money issues with your spouse and you think of things completely different. You go about things completely different. You have organization in your head that is different. And so taking those moments and trying to actually do that and stopping and listening when you're talking about budget things, when, you know, for example, when my wife and I were trying to get out of debt, I was like, I just need a folding chair and a TV. And so what I found over the years is I can have a pillow too. It's a good thing.
Right.
Even though
Yeah.
I think it's a complete waste of money and not a need.
That's funny. Yeah, actually, that was the first lesson that I got. So we're together. Financial empathy builds bridges, right? So getting in each other's shoes, learning, you know, gaining understanding about why somebody else feels the way that they feel, because there are so many things that we don't necessarily see. It's easy for me to project what I think is happening, like with my husband. Oh, I think he thinks this. If you hear my 2-year-old banging on the door, I apologize. Yeah, thumbs down. I don't know how Instagram or how Facebook do that, but thumbs down, Facebook. Good. Yeah. So, you know, I can project what I think.
Yeah.
May not be true.
Yeah. But then, so next to that though, then since we don't have fortune cookies that put us in each other's bodies, how the heck do we do that in regular life?
Man, we got to talk about it. Got to open your mouth and say the words. And John Deloney has this really great phrase that he says, and I've taken this and I run with it. We speak in words, but we dream in pictures. So sometimes it takes sitting down, and I do this with a lot of my married clients. You have to sit down and have a dream meeting where we literally turn off the electronics, dim the lights. I like to say light a candle. Sometimes I send a candle to my clients. I'm like, here you go.
Oh, really?
Here you go. Light a candle and just get comfortable and then draw out the picture.
Yeah.
Because I thought when my husband said he wanted to live outside of the city, I thought suburbs. What he really means is a farm.
Oh.
So our retirement pictures are very different, and we had to sit down and like draw that out. But I think that when we can sit down and map out the picture in vivid detail, we then can understand. Yeah. So we have to find that way to bridge that gap.
Yeah, as Coach Chris Hogan used to say, think in high definition, right?
Yes, high definition.
And I always, with my clients, I push them to go one step further. Don't let them do it together. I say go and do it separately and then have a date, come back and share with each other what you wrote or drew. And because some people, you know, they get a little like, oh, they're here, or they get, you know, they're already in trying to make their spouse happy. Yeah. You know, so as I always say, do it by yourself and then come together, and then you might be surprised, even if you've been married for like 10, 20 years, about what the other one said.
Oh, and I mean, we have other lessons we need to get to, but yeah, I do think this is really important because sometimes my clients are just on they're like, look, we're on separate pages and we need to figure out where to go. So, but if they're ending up in the same spot, right? If we're going to the same direction, it doesn't matter if your tracks are a little less than parallel, but we're going to the same destination. Sometimes that's okay. Yeah, absolutely. All right, what's next? You got another one. My next one is that debt-free doesn't always mean stress-free. Ooh. Okay, so we're looking at Tess. They have a very nice house. Yeah. Okay, they have a very nice house. She's got a very nice job. They're living comfortably, it looks like on the outside, but she's a single mom doing her thing. So earning a high income doesn't necessarily mean that all the stress is taken away. I think that's really important to realize. Yeah, life
is always going to happen. And that's where it's good for, especially us as coaches, and when we're going through it, to build the muscles now so that we, oh, hi, Mom. Build the muscles now so that we can handle it when we do have more money so that we don't go backward.
Yep. Also, the baby's waking up. I'm going to get her. She's going to come
Okay,
in.
you go bring her in.
She's coming into the thing. So I'm sorry, everybody. You're going to get put down here for a second because she's loud.
On that moment,
Look at my ceiling.
On that note, while Laura's taking care of the little one, if anyone has any questions about anything that we're talking about that you'd like us to go further into, please let us know. All right. Okay, let's see. So one, did you want to say any more about that last point, Laura?
No, we can move on.
Okay. So I wanted to talk about impulse buying.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because Lindsay Lohan in her mom's body goes out, oh, credit card. Or are you just showing us a baby? Just distracting everybody.
I'm sorry. I'm trying to get the thing back on. There we go.
Yeah, but she goes out there and she's buying stuff. She's canceling stuff. She's just like ruining everything. And yeah.
Oh, I was going to say, and sometimes we forget that those short-term impulses have long-term impacts. Because like she goes and she's trying to be all defiant, cuts her mom's hair. Guess what, honey? You have to live with that till it grows out. It's a big deal.
Yeah.
Short-term impulses, they last a long time sometimes.
Yeah, exactly. But, and that's where it's good when it comes to, being, especially when we're trying to accomplish any goal financially, to give ourselves some time, to give ourselves 24 hours when we're thinking about those purchases, to do a check-in, like, okay, what is this feeling actually coming from? Where is it coming from? And what are different ways to get that out and the wrinkles out instead of jumping to impulse buying?
Oh, yeah. Oh, man, I've been thinking a lot about some of the feelings that I have, some of the reasons why, the impulse buys at the grocery store, those things that, those are not, they're not meant to be convenient. They're meant to have you impulse purchase. And I have this thing about buying a Snickers every single time.
Oh, really?
Every time I see it, I need it.
Wow.
And part of that has to do, and I've done some work on this, part of that has to do with the fact that when I grew up, that was a luxury that happened maybe 1 out of 10 times. But when I became an adult, I could do it whenever I wanted to because I was in control. Yeah. And then it became a habit. And now I have to ask myself, why? Do I need it? No. Do I want it? Yeah. So which am I going to let take control, the need or the want?
Yeah. And that's interesting talking about where we're coming from our past, because there are many things in my life like, oh, I didn't have that. Yes, Mom, you're a great mom. She's watching. I got to watch out. But like my dad, because it was on sale, and this is true, he would just buy Lucky Charms over and over and over again. And that was his own, I think he just loved Lucky Charms, but he would always tell me, that was the one that was on sale.
It was on sale.
And so now I'm a little sick of Lucky Charms. But what's funny is my wife and I, we've been through this where if something is good in the house, right, where we're also both finding ourselves, and we ran into this early in marriage, fighting over it, trying to like eat it before the other one. We're like, hey, we're not siblings. And because she shared, like, when she grew up, like if anything was good, it was a battle between her and her brother to see who would eat it all first. And then also another note on the impulse buying thing. It's funny, you mentioned Snickers.
Your mom's so cute. I love that your mom is here.
But you mentioned Snickers, and I was just thinking, oh, the other day I wanted to impulse buy the Switch too. So there's very different things, and is that a guy versus a girl thing? The girls are,
maybe
1,000 cuts and the guys impulse giant boats and things.
Maybe that's something to look into. That's interesting. My husband also wants to buy the Nintendo Switch too. And I was like, we just bought a regular Switch.
Yeah, but man, the Switch 2 controllers are so much bigger for the guy hands.
But they're for the children.
No, Switch 2 rocks. What are you talking about? All right.
Hey, if it's in the budget, get it.
Yep. All right. Did you do the last one or did I do the last one?
I don't remember. I got three more. So
Okay, go for it. Go to the next one.
This is for you and me because we're career coaches. Pursuing your passion is not always irresponsible.
Ooh, I put your job affects your family. That was one of my things.
Okay. I was thinking more Lindsay Lohan following her passions.
Oh, okay.
But yes, Tess is busy and her phone's always going off, and that's annoying.
Yeah.
So I understand that, but what I wrote down was careers in creative and non-traditional jobs often clash with your parents' ideas of financial stability.
Yeah.
Pursuing your calling doesn't mean sacrificing responsibility. It requires a solid plan coming from the actor who had no solid plan and went hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt to pursue a degree in something that I knew I was never going to use. So for me, like her wanting to pursue her music, I'm like, yeah, go. Why is your mom not supporting you? Because my parents, my mom and my dad, were both so on board with me being an actor. They're like, yep, that's you. That's 100%. Go for it. You need it. What can we do to make it happen? So, that was my look. It can feel irresponsible. You just have to get a plan in place. Make sure that you can fund your life, and then go for it.
Oh, I mean, definitely speaking to in that career space, my wife Kelly, she was always hearing growing up, and I think it was, that generation of parents, they wanted us to be taken care of. So there was a lot of focus on how much money you will be making after.
Yep.
So my wife had that itch for that creative side, probably just like you do, but it was just like, oh, do this. And what's kind of funny is, as time has gone on and she's leaned into and gotten to that creative itch going, oh, it's actually worked out and it's just fine.
Yeah.
And so I just want to encourage everybody, whatever career you're going to do, be the best at it as you can possibly be, and then see what happens.
Yeah.
Are you reading? What was that?
I was reading Lonnie's comment about how she went back to school. Lonnie's my client. She's a very talented crocheter, by the way.
Oh, amazing.
Okay, so go for your next point. We have 10 minutes left, and I want to make sure we get to all the points.
We do? Well, what was funny, the last one that really I think is a big deal, especially this weekend going into Father's Day. Mm-hmm. It's family unity is worth more than stuff.
Yes.
And with that, I think, because growing up and seeing how other folks have dealt with their kids, what a lot of us in this generation in general have just heard a lot about what might be happening financially, have seen a lot of stress, but haven't actually known what's going on.
Right.
And for us moving forward, this is such a good thing to remember. Bring your kids into it. Bring them into the situation. And even, Tess, Jamie Lee Curtis, you can tell, with her career and what she was doing, she had to do so much because dad died and he wasn't there anymore.
Yeah.
And so she's carrying all that responsibility by herself. And she wasn't really letting Lindsay Lohan in on everything, which we find out throughout the movie. And so letting your kids know what is going on, it's only going to prepare them. It's going to also make them part of the solution, where we can, if we're trying to save up for something or pay something off, get some coloring crayons out, put a thermometer out. We're coloring this thing in and we're doing it together. For example, going back to the Switch 2. The other day, I declared to my sons, I was like, man, I really want to Switch 2. And I'll tell you, it was amazing. It was like, I think they're listening to me, because they're like, all right, Dad, let's put our money together. I'll crack the piggy bank. They were like, they started problem solving on how we could make it happen together. And I was like, oh, I'm so proud of my boys. It was like I was being coached. It was like I was being coached to. I was whining about something I wanted, and they were like, all right, let's figure out how to make it happen.
You just have to put it in place. There's a lot of invisible labor that we don't always talk about, and that's what we saw. That's what we see Tess struggling with. She's got not only the stress of having her job and her crazy clients, literally, some of them are literally crazy. But
you are a liar.
but she's managing a household and a romantic relationship. Like she's trying to do all of the things and all of the balls in the air. And I have to give her credit. She's doing a pretty good job. And if you have a rebellious teenager, guess what? Even when everything's going great, we're probably one of us is going to end up with a rebellious teenager anyway. That's kind of teenagerness.
I wasn't rebellious at all, right, Mom? I wasn't.
I mean, but she's home. She's doing her music in the garage. When it's time to turn it off, they turn it off. I mean, she's crazy about it, but she's doing the stuff she's supposed to do. So I don't know. My personal opinion is mom's doing the best she can. Single parenthood is hard.
Yeah.
But sometimes we don't look at that. And you've been a stay-at-home dad, so you understand what this is like. And as a stay-at-home mom, I understand. There's some of this, your mom, there's some of those things that I think are just really important to remember. And I pulled this up and I've talked about it on here before. I think, a stay-at-home parent, the value of replacing a stay-at-home parent is $160,000 a year. And if you add in CFO and COO, like operations officer, financial officer, that's another $220,000. So you're $380,000 worth of value that you're bringing in, even if you don't bring in a paycheck. You're welcome.
Quick math right there, my friend.
I've done it a couple of times.
All right, man. Well, any final thoughts?
Oh yeah, my last one is that money is often a proxy for control, and so we have to watch out for this. So Tess is she's the mom, first of all, so she's allowed to control, but by restricting money in the family, like saying, no, you can't buy this, no, you can't go there, no, you can't, like that is often when we are stressed and overwhelmed and afraid, we are after control. So sometimes we restrict, and sometimes we get a budget that's like overzealous, and then it's a recipe for burnout. So we have to be really careful and remember that money is a tool, but it's not a tool to control people. And so we have to just be really careful what we can control ourselves. After we tell our budget what to do, we let it control us, but it can't control us until after we tell it how to do so.
That makes sense.
Okay, good.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and that's a huge thing for any healthy relationship, that money is about, and with our family, it's the unity of husband and wife first, and our vision, then the family comes along with that. It's not one person getting their way and then, oh, maybe I'll let you do this or go away. It's coming together, like we talked about earlier with our vision.
Yeah, you mentioned that earlier, and so I wanted to circle back to that. The values that we have as a family are most important. And so when you make your spending plan, when you decide what you want to spend your money on, you have to do it based on what the values of your family are. You can't make it you can't make for your family what's valuable to me, because you're never going to stick to it. It doesn't fit you and what you ultimately want. So you have to do it based on what your family loves and what your family wants. And then when you do that, it's easier to stick to a plan when everybody is recognized and your values are followed. It's very hard to do it when you're like, well, so-and-so said I'm supposed to do it this way, so I'm going to do it this way. It doesn't.
And do you think, final thought, that this new blended family with Mark Harmon as the dad, are they going to do well? Do you think they're going to be okay? Because the sequel's coming out in August. Are they going to be okay?
I cannot wait for the sequel. I'm so looking forward to it. We already have a girls' date scheduled where my mom's group, we're all going to go together to watch it. So very excited about that. But yes, I mean, I think that especially that little moment at the end where he tells, Mark Harmon's character tells Tess, is like, go. Like, you need to be with your daughter. And the fact that she saw that and she's like, oh, he does care about me. And I've just been sitting here pushing him away and being mean to him.
Well, that was actually Lindsay Lohan's character, right?
Yeah. Lindsay Lohan inside of Tess. Yes. It's very confusing talking about it when you're like, who's inside of what and when? How? But the fact that Lindsay Lohan saw that was like, oh, okay. So I think she was able to see him as more of a person and more as a caring figure as opposed to an oppressive regime. That I think that was
because she's just assuming that he doesn't care.
Yes.
And that's why another reason, going back to the family unity, is that why we need to communicate in pictures, maybe even with our kids.
Yeah. I mean, maybe. And now I'm sitting here going, what conversations can I have with my kids to find out what they, how they misinterpret things that I say so I can say them differently for them. This is great. Freaky Friday has gone past money lessons and we're into parenting 101. I now am like, okay, I need to do this with my kids. I need to have the questions for humans parent and kid edition.
Oh yeah.
Get those. Oh man.
Oh yeah. We do those at dinner time. It's fun.
Do you really?
Oh yeah.
What was your last question you read?
Oh, I don't remember.
You don't remember?
Because we switched between the cards, and then there's also this it was a gratitude from our church, and you roll it, and it's different ways of being having gratitude for different things. So we did the gratitude last, but then the questions for human form. So
fair. I was like, I have it over here somewhere, but I'm not gonna reach for it because then you'd see the giant mess behind me, and I'm not gonna show you.
Well, are we just about out of time, right? Because I don't even have a clock in front of me. But
it's 11:26.
I was just planning on you taking care of it.
Yeah, I got you. No, this is me. That's all of my money lessons, but I'll tell you, my favorite memory from the entire thing, it's going to be Chad Michael Murray screaming Britney Spears at the top of his lung at the window.
I was just gonna say that.
Terribly.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm pretty sure he has a better voice than this.
One more time.
I'm pretty sure. And then she like clocks him. I love it.
Yeah. I was checking, and he is in the sequel. I looked at the cast, so he'll be there.
Is Mark Harmon in the cast?
Yeah, I checked. Yep.
This is gonna be great. I cannot wait.
Which I connect with Mark Harmon because he was Gibbs on NCIS.
Yes, which is why we call you Gibbs now behind your back. That is when I fell in love with Mark Harmon. I've always been into the military type. I can sit and watch Mark Harmon on NCIS over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. So one show I didn't get to be on. The one show I didn't get to be on. I was on NCIS LA over and over and over again.
Really?
I've been on NCIS New Orleans, but never just regular NCIS.
We're gonna have to just put fun shots of you in these things and like share it to our story so everybody can see.
If I could find them. We went back the other day and we were watching Couples Retreat, and I was like, oh yeah, I was in that movie, and my friends are like, what, where? So we literally were like slowing it down frame by frame. I was like, there I am. It's like my side. It's not exciting, but I have all the behind the scenes stories, so that part's fun.
All right, Movie Money Mashup audience, if you want to see some pictures of Laura in some stuff, let us know. But I'm gonna end it right here. But make sure, we've 2 weeks from today. So let us know what movies you'd like to see. Send them in. Get us some hard ones. We want some really difficult challenges. See if we can find a money.
I don't know. They may be seeing now that we have some great insight and we can do things that they didn't know we could do. We got things. They can be like this movie. They can be like other movies that we've done before. Throw something out there. Let us know.
I'm perfectly fine with an old movie too.
I mean, how old?
Oh, I mean, I'm fine with super old. Let's get crazy. Have you ever seen San Francisco with Clark Gable and Spencer Tracy? Great movie. That's the movie. It's so good it'll make you taller. But one more announcement for you all. I just noticed that, the lives only stay on Facebook for so long. So the first one we did, Galaxy Quest, was amazing. It is going off. So I actually have a YouTube channel that is under construction right now. So I'll put that link in here. So if you're seeing this, you can go to that so that you don't miss an episode of the Movie Money Mashup. All right?
I love it. I'm going to put it on my podcast feed too. So people that are audio only, they'll get it there.
All right. Fantastic.
We'll have it everywhere.
All right, everybody. Have a great time. We'll see you in 2 weeks.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.